In the second millennium BC, Crete was the center of a vast domain that encompassed most of the islands in the Aegean. For this reason, the Minoan civilization, named after Minos, the legendary king of Crete, was also called the Aegean civilization. The Mycenaeans. Between Mycenaean Greece and the Orient, there was a city that preyed on ships traveling along the Hellespont toward the Black Sea, the legendary Troy. The Mycenaeans fought a war against this city that has captured the imagination of historians and generations of students. Troy, once known as Ilios or Ilion, was a flourishing Hellenistic city. It was also one of the greatest mysteries challenging archaeologists. Many dedicated long years of their lives searching for it, lured by the fabulous treasures it promised. But it was not easy to rouse the beautiful Helen, the brave Hector, or King Priam from their slumber. Troy, the city whose siege was described so eloquently in perhaps the world's most famous book, Homer's Iliad, could have been anywhere. And Homer had said that Troy was burned to the ground by the Mycenaeans, who entered the city after a 10-year siege thanks to the stratagem of the Trojan horse.
What is this? An offering to Poseidon. The Greeks are praying for a safe return home. This is a gift. We should take it to the temple of Poseidon.
I think we should burn it. Burn it, my prince. It's a gift to the gods. Father, burn it.
In the 5th century BC, from the hundreds of competing states that make up ancient Greece, one man leads his city to greatness. The city is Athens, and Pericles is not a king or prince, but an elected man. His power comes from the people and from his own single-minded vision.
The story goes that when Pericles' mother was 8 months pregnant with him, she knew that she was going to have an extraordinary son who was destined for greatness because she had a dream that she gave birth to a lion. And for the ancient Greeks, the lion was always a symbol of leadership.
To be a successful politician and statesman in Greece, he needed to be a military leader, and he needed to be an effective speaker in the assembly. And he was clearly both of those. Pericles not only contributed to Athens becoming a leading power, I think he was the main creator of that power.
And work begins on the Parthenon. Built to honor the goddess Athena, it will become the most imitated building in history, an inspiration to engineers and architects. It will take 8 years to build, cost cost the equivalent of $100 million and use a staggering 20,000 tons of the finest marble.
The Parthenon is arguably the most influential building in world history. You cannot go into any city in North America or Europe or indeed most of the world without finding a 19th century bank facade, parliamentary building facade, or law court building that isn't in some way influenced by the Parthenon.
Pericles intends that anyone entering the building will be intimidated. This is not just a place of worship. It houses the state treasury and also the ultimate symbol of the city, an enormous statue of the patron goddess, Athena. Engineer Ed McCann has been trying to find the place where the statue, long since destroyed, once stood.
Manolis is a bit embarrassed to tell me where the statue was because it's right underneath that rather horrible crane, is where Athena used to stand in all her glory. Will you put Athena back as part of the restoration?
It's impossible because the whole thing was destroyed, completely destroyed during the fire in the 3rd century AD.
Records suggest that the statue was 30 feet tall. It was clad in gold and ivory. And because it was inside the building, it could only be seen from close quarters. Any onlooker would feel dwarfed.
This statue was virtually unprecedented. Pericles had it put on a plinth that was 5 foot tall, so that when you went in, all you could see was her feet, and then you gradually lifted your gaze up and up and up and up. 40 more feet until you finally came to her beautiful face, her helmet with these horses springing out of it towards the gods. The statue of Athena in Athens completely altered the history of temple statuary in the ancient world, and therefore probably of Christian
radical,
statuary as well.
fundamental change to Athens. A new set of buildings will transform the whole city and its people. Pericles will build democracy.
Daxos! What a pleasant surprise. This morning's full of surprises, Leonidas.
We've been tricked. If you wonder. This is a surprise.
Silence! We heard Sparta was on the warpath. We were eager to join forces. If it is blood you seek, welcome to join us. But you bring only this handful of soldiers against Xerxes? See, I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own. Doesn't it? You, there. What's your profession?
I'm a potter.
And you, Arcadian, what is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.
Annihilation. Listen carefully, Leonidas. Xerxes conquers and controls everything he rests his eyes upon. He leads an army so massive, it shakes the ground with its march. So vast, it drinks the rivers dry. All the god King Xerxes requires is this, a simple offering of earth and water, the token of Sparta's submission to the will of Xerxes.
That's a bit of a problem. See, rumor has it, the Athenians have already turned you down. And if those philosophers and boy lovers found that kind of nerve, then...
We must be diplomatic.
And of course, Spartans!
Choose your next words carefully. They may be your last. Madman. You're a madman.
Air and water. But you'll find plenty of both down there.
No man, Persian or Greek, no man threatens a messenger.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. Oh, I've chosen my words carefully, Persian. Perhaps you should have done the same.
This is blasphemy. This is madness.
This is Sparta!